Hey friends, in today's video, we're diving into the top 10 countries where Americans aren't exactly welcome in 2024. We're leaving the usual spots behind to explore these places that are tough for U.S. passport holders to visit or move to. Here at Travel Pug, we usually celebrate the joys of travel, but sometimes politics and international relations throw a wrench in the works. So buckle up because we're heading to some of the most challenging destinations for American travelers. Don't forget to hit subscribe and tap the bell icon before we jump into the top 10 countries where Americans face major obstacles in 2024. Number 10, Venezuela. Venezuela, known for its breathtaking landscapes from the Andes Mountains to its Caribbean shores, kicks off our list. Unfortunately, Venezuela has been dealing with a serious political and economic crisis, leading the U.S. State Department to advise against all travel. American visitors face risks like crime, unrest, poor health care, kidnapping, and even arrest. Getting a visa can be tricky since diplomatic relations broke down in 2019, so you'd have to apply through a Venezuelan embassy in a third country. Despite the beauty of places like Angel Falls, the world's tallest waterfall, and the pristine beaches of Los Roques, the current situation makes Venezuela a high-risk destination. Number 9, Libya. Like Syria, Libya's ongoing conflict makes it a no-go for American tourists. The U.S. advises against travel to Libya due to threats like crime, terrorism, and kidnapping. The 2011 civil war and the attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi severely impacted relations. Americans can technically get a business visa, but tourist visas are off the table for now. If you do go, it's recommended to register your travel plans with the U.S. Embassy's Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. Number 8, Syria. Syria remains high risk, with the U.S. State Department warning against travel due to ongoing conflict. Even though it's still possible to get a visa, it's not easy. Without an active Syrian embassy in Washington, D.C., you'd need to go through a third country. And keep in mind, a Syrian stamp can impact future travel plans to other countries. Syria is full of cultural treasures, but the humanitarian crisis and instability make it a dangerous destination. Number 7, Turkmenistan. This Central Asian country is famously hard for Americans to enter thanks to strict visa policies. Turkmenistan requires Americans to apply for visas through its embassy in Washington, D.C., and getting an invitation letter from a local travel agency is essential. The process can take weeks with no guarantee of approval. Independent travel isn't allowed, so guided tours are your only option. Despite the hassle, Turkmenistan's unique sites, like the flaming door to hell crater, make it a tempting destination. Number 6, Saudi Arabia is more accessible than it used to be, thanks to its Vision 2030 initiative and new e-visas for tourism. But there are still restrictions, especially for solo female travelers under 25 who must travel with a family member. Plus, the dress code remains conservative, with certain sites off limits for non-Muslims. Despite these limitations, Saudi Arabia's historic sites like Al Ula and its futuristic projects like Neom City are tempting travel destinations for the adventurous. Number 5, Eritrea. Eritrea, on the Horn of Africa, has limited diplomatic relations with the U.S., making it a tough destination for Americans. With strict visa requirements and limited diplomatic missions, approval can take time. Eritrea monitors tourist movements closely, and visitors may need permits for areas outside the capital. While the Art Deco architecture and Red Sea coastline are appealing, Eritrea's isolation adds a layer of difficulty for American visitors. Number 4, North Korea has restricted American visitors since 2017, allowing travel only with special U.S. State Department permission. If you're approved, you'll have to stick to a government-monitored tour, and you won't be able to explore independently. While it's rare to get access, those who do often find themselves in a unique, strictly guided experience with heavy surveillance at all times. This level of restriction makes North Korea one of the toughest places for Americans to visit. Number 3, Iran. Iran is a destination full of history and culture, but challenging U.S.-Iran relations mean that American travelers face lengthy visa processing times and must book guided tours for their entire visit. The visa process often takes weeks, sometimes even months, and a guide must accompany travelers at all times. Iran's sites, like the ancient ruins of Persepolis, attract curious travelers, but strict rules and prolonged approvals can deter all but the most dedicated explorers. Though Iran's sites offer a fascinating blend of ancient culture and breathtaking architecture, the journey for American travelers is far from straightforward. Not only is a visa required, but the process is one of the most drawn out of any country, often stretching across weeks or even months. And once approved, the requirement to have a government-approved guide by your side means that spontaneous exploration is off the table. Even if you're drawn by spots like the iconic Persepolis or bustling bazaars, navigating these regulations can turn any trip into a highly structured experience. Number 2, war-torn Yemen. War-torn Yemen is one of the most dangerous destinations for Americans, with high risks of violence, limited health care, and near-impossible visa approvals. The U.S. State Department has strongly advised against all travel due to the risks of kidnapping and armed conflict. Yemen's history and architecture are impressive, but for now, those ancient sites remain almost entirely off-limits for American tourists. Number 1. Afghanistan. Afghanistan tops the list due to severe safety risks and ongoing instability. The U.S. has no diplomatic presence here, making assistance unavailable. While Afghanistan has amazing landscapes, the risk factors for American travelers make it an extremely high-risk destination. American travelers may find themselves especially vulnerable, given the lack of embassy support and limited emergency options if needed. Another significant concern in Afghanistan is the lack of essential services and medical infrastructure that meets international standards. In the event of emergencies, travelers could face delays in receiving medical attention, and the availability of modern medical facilities is limited in rural areas. Travel to Afghanistan requires significant preparation, caution, and often local knowledge, especially when venturing beyond urban centers like Kabul. For anyone considering travel to Afghanistan, understanding the on-ground realities is critical for safety, and many official travel advisories recommend avoiding non-essential trips altogether. And with that, our countdown of the top 10 countries Americans aren't welcome in 2024 comes to a close. As travelers, exploring new destinations is a way to connect, experience, and understand different corners of the world. But as exciting as travel can be, it's essential to recognize that certain places come with real risks or restrictions. Stay informed, stay prepared, and remember, sometimes the best travel decisions are about knowing when not to go. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more travel insights and updates.